Welcome to the LNER Stadium in York. It's a beautiful evening in Yorkshire, and this is the beginning of Leeds United's pre-season programme. The work starts here. The team have already had one behind closed doors fixture, but now tonight, as you can see, the supporters are in the stadium, and the supporters have the chance for the first time this summer to run the rule over what will be eventually, very much we imagine, a new look Leeds United side, although the way the team lines up tonight is pretty familiar looking. The opposition provided by Championship side Blackpool, who've made the trip across the Pennines. Blackpool, who had a decent season on returning to Championship level football last season, finishing in mid-table, but not a million miles away from the playoff places. So one would anticipate that they'll provide a pretty stiff test potentially for Leeds this evening. The players lead the applause for the supporters, and you'll notice right in the middle of the frame there, the young man wearing the number 63. And that tells you kind of how far down the squad list he may be, but he's elevated to a first start in the first official pre-season friendly this evening, and that is young Archie Gray, somebody that we are very much looking forward to. 16 years old and in there from the off in this game, in this first friendly match ahead of the start of the season, which of course comes in just under a month's time, hardly any time at all, when the Wolverhampton Wanderers provide the opposition for Leeds United at Ellen Road. So we get the chance to run the rule over this strong looking Leeds United side in what we anticipate will be the first 45 minutes. And then we anticipate mass changes once the turnaround has come, because Blackpool are already saying that they'll change all 11 players. They played a game against Southport at the weekend. That's exactly what they did in that game. Two different sides played first and second half, and we do think that Leeds United are going to do something very similar as well. But the team that starts the game is a strong-looking side. The likes of Joe Gelhardt out there to impress, as he will have a chance from the beginning this evening. No Patrick Bamford involved in the side, either side that Leeds United will play this evening. So Joe Gelhardt has the chance here just to make a very early claim for that top spot in the opening game of the season. And there's the one new signing that we're going to see through the course of this evening. Marc Rocca, who's come in from Bayern Munich, is the new face in the Leeds United lineup. Rocca, who had good pedigree, played games in Spain in the top division, got a good move to Bayern Munich, and he's found it much more difficult at Bayern Munich. And I think he's coming to Leeds United just to get things going again, and he will be hoping and anticipating that he can start to make his mark right from the outset here in this game this evening. Pascal Stroup, familiar figure, who will play in the centre of Leeds United's defence. Leeds have had players coming back at various times. Those who have been away on international duty only returned a couple of days ago to training. Pascal Stroup was there already. So Stroup and Robin Koch were two players who we'd anticipate were going to start this game, as they're the two experienced central defenders who've been around and training for just that little bit longer. Alongside me to run the rule over this game this evening, inevitably, who else but Tony Dorigo. Tony, well, here we go. We're almost ready to start again.
We certainly are. Not long since we seem to have just about finished, but I'll tell you what, we finished on a high, didn't we? Thank goodness. And now it really will be all change. But this first game, it's always important just to get out on the pitch, get a football and start playing the games. But of course, some of the players have got their own personal programmes, so a lot of them will be at different rates of fitness, hence why we see this team tonight.
Yeah, there you go. There's the strong-looking starting 11 for Leeds United. And you'll note on there that Cody Drammer, who's back again at the club from Cardiff, is involved. A few familiar names in the Blackpool side, plenty of experience in there, none more so than the man wearing 26, Richard Keogh, who Leeds United fans have seen plenty of down the years. Keogh still involved, and up front Gary Medine, another familiar former opponent at Championship level. So that's the first half 11 for Blackpool, the first half 11 for Leeds United. And then we expect that there'll be a lot of changes to come in the interval. Jesse Marsh, who's made changes to the coaching staff, strengthened his coaching staff today as well. So Leeds United continuing to build in all areas ahead of the start of that Premier League season in 4 weeks' time. Match official ready to get the game underway. Chris Maxwell in the centre circle, who will be captaining Blackpool in the first half at least. Former Wrexham player. recognise him well. And Rodrigo is the man wearing the armband for Leeds United. So the two meet in the middle. And then once the conversation is over, the game will get underway. If the players have any concern, I mean, the pitch looks immaculate, this brand new stadium. And it's the stadium that's been a scene of some celebrations in the fairly recent past, because York City got themselves promoted back from National League North to the National League in a playoff game at the LNER Stadium. Full house for that one. And we've had a kick-off delay because people have been still coming into the ground, but I think it'll be somewhere close to a full house once everybody's managed to take their seats for this one. Blackpool with the ball back into their own half as the game is underway. Leeds' pre-season programme is officially underway, and it's Leeds United who are kicking from right to left in this first period, wearing the all-blue strip, and Blackpool in the much more familiar orange and white, the tangerines.
Yes, I think early on what is important as well is just the system, really. The players, no doubt, have been working on it, but these sort of games is where Jesse Marsh can just experiment a little bit and just see and make sure these ideas are getting through to his players.
The sun shines brightly over the stadium here. It's going to be a really warm evening, and Leeds United tried to launch an opening attack. The ball played into the penalty area, and the chase is on, and guess who's there? It's Archie Gray, who was the furthest man forward for Leeds, an attacking midfielder, and we saw all the evidence of that in that little run through the middle there.
Well, he certainly wasn't shy in getting forward. That was an excellent run, almost got on the end of it as well, timed it to perfection. That third man running, so important from midfield.
As Blackpool spread the ball out wide and then build an attack of their own. As you can see, the stand far side has filled up considerably now, with still more fans coming into the ground. This new stadium, the LNER Stadium, is on the outskirts of York City Centre, unlike Bootham Crescent, which was obviously right in the middle of town. An absolutely ideal away day for those who've done it. Into town on the train, quick wander around the pubs beforehand, and then if the fancy took you, go in and watch the game. This time you've got to be a bit more on it in terms of the transport situation, because if you're not driving, it's a bit more tricky to get to the ground, which may have caused some of the issues on the way in, as Leeds United attack down this left-hand side. Firpo pushing right up to the byline, as the ball is then knocked back into the path just outside the penalty area of Harrison. Harrison comes back to Rocca, and then it's played up to Firpo in the penalty area. He's taken the chance to have a shot, and defensive block is what kept the ball away from Chris Maxwell's goal. But Leeds have the ball back again as they work hard to win possession back on the edge of the penalty area. In the opening stages, we anticipate, I think, that Leeds have begun with 4-2-3-1 formation, as Gelhardt plays the ball into the penalty area. Defensive interception is important as Keogh steps in, and Greenwood is not able to get there ahead of him, but Leeds United do have the first corner kick of the match.
Well, really good play. Joe Gelhardt's just passed was a little bit overhit. Couldn't get it into Greenwood's feet, but good possession. Kept the ball well. Firpo got forward well on the left-hand side, and Rocca, interesting to see him. Just really a continuity player, likes to get the ball and keep it moving, with a couple of nice touches so far.
So Leeds' first set-piece delivery, something I'm sure even in the early stages of this pre-season that they'll have been working on, and Koch is up there, the deep side of the penalty area. The header is cleared away, and Blackpool attempt to launch a swift counter-attack, but Koch having done working one penalty area, is back closer to his own penalty area to tidy things up and make sure the ball goes back to Meslier. And Meslier gets the ball out quickly so that Leeds can begin to build from the back again, with Rocca in possession to Robin Koch. Koch out wide to the far touchline. Leeds hold possession, edge of the centre circle. And it's a sweet ball from Rocca to Firpo. First time passing is really good from him as well. And that's an excellent goal from Leeds United, as Joe Gelhardt made the run through, but the flag is raised far side, so these celebrations are somewhat muted, and it's Leeds United who thought that the first goal of the season had gone in, who have to think again, just a little beyond the last defender, I think there, Joe Gelhardt.
Unfortunate, but I like the look of that. What a good ball from Mark Rocca. Firpo, first time, puts it in behind the defence. And Gelhardt must have been so
Can't have been
close.
much in that, can they?
Couldn't have been at
He
all.
appeared to make the run from behind the defender far side of the box, but we don't have the look across the line that the ref's assistant has. The flag was raised early. Leeds United have to try again. Philp on this near side to Rocca. Free kick is awarded to Leeds, taken quickly. Rocca already showing signs he likes to get on the ball here, isn't he?
Absolutely, what a left foot he's got. And as I said, just always finding his man with the ball.
Joe Gelhardt with the fancy back heel that doesn't quite come off. And then the ball is given away, and Sam Greenwood couldn't make the most of that opportunity that was presented to him there, but Leeds are really at it at the moment in these very early stages, first 5 minutes of proper pre-season. And Blackpool are being harried in possession here.
It's a high press, isn't it? That's what, of course, Jesse Marsh wants the team to do. Just really cover that blanket, cover that players and ball into a short, small area, win the ball back, and off we go again. And Blackpool struggling to get out of their own third at the moment.
I've been talking to the players in the week or so that they've been back, as we've been doing interviews for LUTV, and one of the points that a couple of them at least have made is that what is important now is that they have time to properly work with Jesse Marsh, because when he first arrived at the football club, basically everyone was only working to the next game, and it was all about how you prepared for the next game. And so there was less time for him to actually really put his ideas and his strategy and his ethos in place, but they've had and will have the opportunity to do that now over these next few weeks.
Yes, you're right, and I think we saw the games towards the end of this season that at times we weren't quite sure going forward how we were meant to play. Defensively, I think we looked good and organised and solid, but certainly room for improvement. But the job was just about staying up. We did that. Now we want to see the next stage, don't we?
Junior Philpo, who's been involved in the opening stages for Leeds in an attacking sense, which is certainly something I think that people would like to see more from him in the second Premier League season that he has. And hopefully the new system maybe will give him that opportunity to make more of a contribution offensively and to do the stuff that needs to be done, obviously defensively as well. As the ball is just clipped into touch, Leeds United have a throw in.
Right, you're right. I think Junior Firpo, this season now he needs to step up and just go again, because there's no doubt defensively at times he struggled. So many yellow cards that he had as well. So hopefully he's a bit more used to it and understands what he needs to do. But I think going forward, I think that clearly is his strength, and just needs to have that confidence to go forward, because we have seen on occasions that that could be a real asset.
Rocca bringing the ball out of defence for Leeds, gets the ball back in that playmaker position and tries to spread the ball forward. It just carried beyond Sam Greenwood, and it's carried over the far side touchline. Supporters in that stand opposite shielding their eyes from the sun that's shining in over the stand on the gantry side of the ground as the ball is chucked down the line. And Blackpool at the moment just struggling to get any kind of possession of any note here in this game, because Leeds United have been really at it from the word go, and players look as if they're keen to make the first big impression here in front of the Leeds supporters who've made the trip to the LNER Stadium in York. Maxwell clears out under a little bit of pressure and gets good distance on the ball over the halfway line. Firpo strong defensively, and then it's Stroup who can roll the ball to his central defensive partner Koch. Pascal Stroup now becoming an experienced Premier League player, isn't he, as he looks to begin another season in the top flight for Leeds. Here's one less experienced by some distance already, even though they're not that far apart in age, but Archie Gray at 16 is showing a willingness to get involved in the middle of the park there. Some speculation that we may yet see Archie Gray making his debut for the first team at some point this season. I guess the very fact he's involved in this side in the first half of this opening fixture in the friendlies programme is a suggestion that he's not too far away. Gelhardt caught there surely. The referee plays an advantage, then brings the play back, and Leeds will have a free kick.
Certainly was a free kick. Good play from Joe Gelhardt. Tried to play a 1-2 after going through a couple of challenges, but was certainly brought down, but once again, yes, we're playing Blackpool, but I think so far so good. We've knocked the ball around well, playing with good intensity as well, winning the ball back high up the pitch, and certainly our new boy Rocca getting plenty of touches.
Quick free kick, Firpo in the penalty area, rolls it into the middle. This time the ball is drilled home, and this time Leeds United do have the opening goal of the pre-season programme. Robin Koch at the far post with a simple tap in. Really clever free kick, well worked, Leeds in front.
I like that. Alert. That's what's important, making sure you play what's in front of you rather than trying to go through these set pieces that you do on the training ground. But there's the quick pass. Robin Koch at the back post. As the ball is rolled across from Firpo, just taps it home.
And Keogh is not best pleased with his defensive partner there, is he? So Robin Koch pops up to pop in, and Leeds United have an early lead, and it's a deserved lead as well, because Leeds have been dominant so far, haven't they?
They certainly have, and it's important to start nice and quick and sharp. And these sort of games, Greenwood again, look at that, look how much we're closing down. It is quite remarkable, to be honest, but you've got 5 games to impress the new manager. You want to start that, of course, first all-important league game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And how do you show your manager that you are good enough in these sort of games?
And Leeds have star names missing, new signings missing tonight. A number of them are there watching the game. We've seen Tyler Adams amongst those, and Luis Sinisterra have taken their place in the stadium to watch on. Luke Ayling's there as well, Liam Cooper's there. So there are others who will expect to be involved. So this group of players, and the likes of Joe Gelhardt and Sam Greenwood, are the ones who will definitely be wanting to make that big impression tonight, having had a taste of first-team football with Leeds last season. There's Rodrigo clipping the ball forward. Well, Junior Firpo is showing more than a willingness to get forward in this early stage of the game, isn't he?
He certainly is. He's done 1 or 2 good defensive things, but certainly attacking-wise up here on the left wing, he's got inside, outside, and of course cross to the goal as well.
So Leeds trying to keep the pressure on the Blackpool back line. At the moment, they're just happy to swing a ball up into the Leeds half, but it's temporary respite, no more, as Gelhardt, great turn. And then a lovely ball played into Harrison in the penalty area, looking for support to arrive, gets the ball into a brilliant position in the middle of the penalty box, and there's just nobody there quite in time to meet that one, and Maxwell is relieved to gather, and then there's an immediate response from Archie Gray for Leeds with a challenge that knocks the ball into touch.
Excellent ball from Gelhardt. Jack Harrison here, he just played it along the ground. Instead he dug it out to the back post. Rodrigo was there at that near post, but couldn't quite get there.
So Leeds bright in the opening stages, as bright as the sunshine that still beats down here on the LNER Stadium in York. The battle goes on between Harrison and Apter. Blackpool's 11 is a little bit of a mix of youth and experience, but predominantly their 11 is players who would expect to see involved somewhere around the first team in their first game of the championship season. Championship season actually starts later this month, everything changing around due to the World Cup in November, December. Here's Rodrigo for Leeds, playing the ball forward, and temporarily at least to Harrison, and then Rocca comes in with a significant challenge in the midfield there, which suggests that he doesn't mind a tackle.
He was slightly late, let's just put it that way. I think it was interesting, obviously this 4-2-2-2 system that Jesse Musk sometimes uses, 4-2-3-1 tonight, but then we were quite narrow, but then Firpo is flying forward, so I think certainly in this sort of formation at times fullbacks need to be offering themselves to give some width to the side, and of course when they do lose it, they've got to get in there quick. Rocca did, but just a little late.
And had a good chance to have a chat with Mark Rocca last week on his arrival at the football club. Very impressive in terms of the way that he delivered his interview. Spanish player, but they actually use English as a common language at Bayern Munich, so he picked up plenty while he was there. And it was a very confidently presented interview. And you have to say the same about Luis Sinisterra as well, who I've met for the first time. And again, another whose English is at a good level already, that it'll allow him to get fully involved, talking to people right from the get-go. And
good closing down, really is good closing down. Blackpool there just can't work their way out. really giving them no time. They're suffocating at the moment.
They do get the chance to. Archie Gray unceremoniously ends the forward run of Sonny Carey, and that will be a Blackpool free kick in an area that doesn't really damage Leeds too much.
Almost got the ball. That reminds me of certainly something that Norman Hunter would say, that the ball can get past or the man can get past, but never both can get past.
well, Archie Gray will have that. It's in the DNA, isn't it? That kind of that mentality. It'll have been drummed into him, I'm sure, from the very early age, and we'll be seeing, no doubt, more of that as this evening goes on and as the games go on. Blackpool here, their first attack of the night, and the ball is played into a really good area across the middle of the park. Brad Holmes was waiting in the middle. I don't know whether he took his eye off it, but it just eluded him at the key moment from Leeds' perspective then.
Well, Holmes should have done a lot better. It really was a good ball from the right-hand side. And when it does come in, it just seems to fluff his lines. It gets in behind us. And there, unfortunately, Cody Drummer was all twisted up. Couldn't get near his man.
So Blackpool create their first moment of promise in the opening stages of this game. We're in the 16th minute here, as Koch plays the long ball out wide to the right side. The chase is on over on that far side for Drama, all the way over to the corner flag. Support arrives, and then Rocca in the slightly deeper lying midfield role. Stroup gives him the ball back. Leeds hold possession in the Blackpool half. Firpo battling away, just loses out to Josh Bowler. Now Blackpool with Bowler can go forward, and he skips past Firpo and brings the ball into the penalty area. Trying to line up the shot, Stroud does a great job ultimately just to match him stride for stride and then put the foot in at the right time, but the referee's going to stop play with the Blackpool player down on the pitch.
Excellent defending from Pascal Stroup. Unfortunately, Firpo just diving in. This is what you need to do, stay on your feet, try and really usher him away from goal and challenge at the right time. Unfortunate collision there, wasn't it, I think?
So, early injury for Blackpool to be concerned about here. And physio on the pitch for the first time. Blackpool having got themselves promoted to the Championship under the leadership of Neil Critchley, but Neil Critchley left the club at the end of the season, and Michael Appleton has come in to take charge for a second time. The man who's back on his feet there is the Australian player, the Australian international, Kenny Dougal. And I think he's suggesting that he'd been fouled in the midst of all of that. So a long conversation between him and the referee. Nothing doing.
No, I think it was a fair challenge. Pascal got the ball first, just his follow through. Caught the Blackpool player on the shin, but he was on the ground, so nothing doing there.
Mellier's given the ball back to get the game going again. Somewhat confusingly, perhaps. William Mellier also all in blue. It's just a different type of blue. But there's enough in it to be able to spot the keeper against the defenders. As Rocca plays the ball forward down the channel. On this occasion, though, it's wayward, and Maxwell comes out right up to the edge of the penalty area to give the ball to Keogh. Again, Sam Greenwood showing a real willingness to put the hard work in to try and win the ball back, as demanded, no doubt, by Jesse Marsh. Sam Greenwood, of course, who played that key role in that final game of the season. That epic day at Brentford.
Absolutely.
A day from which I think many of us are still recovering in many senses. It isn't just to do with the night out we had afterwards either.
I think we enjoyed the day and the night. That's about right.
Put it that way, yeah. Drama into the penalty area. And Pascal Stroup able to stride forward. And now Gray. It's got a nice ring to it, hasn't it, as the Gray dynasty continues at Leeds United. And the ball on the halfway line, still in the possession of the Premier League side, Rodrigo. To Rocca. And then Stroup joins in. Stroup looking just to open things up a little down this left side. Firpo was just gambling that he might get something going forward then, but Leeds decide to come back before they go forward again. And keep strong possession as they were keeping strong possession, but Rocca, fair play, we made the error, went in to retrieve the situation. Ultimately Blackpool emerged with possession and have the possibility of starting something here. Koch had read the situation well, closed the door, and Blackpool have to settle for a throw-in.
Commentators curse for him. Strong possession. Well, that's about the only thing that Rocca has done badly. Unfortunately, it's just a miscontrol, but I've been impressed so far with him. Of course, when you take into account the opposition, but it's important that playing that position, he's always an option for people at the back. He gets on the ball, and so far he's done that.
20 minutes in, Leeds United have the lead here. Robin Koch, the goal scorer. Good value for that. Although just in the last couple of minutes, perhaps, we've seen Blackpool enjoying more possession for one and playing more of their football in the Leeds United half for two. And here they come again. Going into the penalty. It was a difficult one, bounced up right in front of Stroup, and Rocca with a less than convincing clearance. Bowler has it for Blackpool. Turns goalwards. Firpo, much better challenge from Junior Firpo to stop Bowler in his tracks there. And now Harrison looks to get something going. An offensive situation for Leeds. And again, opting on the side of just the cautionary approach, keep possession, build from the back, work the ball forward. That's what Leeds are endeavouring to do here with Stroup up to the halfway line. Rocca. And then back it goes to Stroup and to Koch. I guess the Blackpool players are having to work really hard for not a lot of return just at the moment. Will be aware that they're going to get a rest in 24 minutes time, so it's worth sticking at it. If they had an entire evening of this ahead of them, it probably wouldn't feel great at the moment. But Leeds come again here. Rodrigo almost threaded the ball through for Gellhardt, who almost gets a second chance. Still sticks at the task. Blackpool managed to smuggle the ball away temporarily, and then the low drive, and Maxwell has to drop to his left side just to push the ball behind for a corner kick.
Good save. Certainly was at that near post. Maxwell diving for Rodrigo's shot, but once again it's quite tight in there, in and around the box. Almost found Greenwood and then Gellhardt, but when they come back to Rodrigo, excellent shot.
The Leeds have another corner kick. Harrison gets applause as he arrives at the corner's flag to take it, gives the signal. Harrison delivers in towards a near post, great header, and that's the second goal for Leeds. And Junior Firpo gets the little flick at the near post, and it looks like another excellently worked set piece from Leeds has brought a second goal. So it's now Leeds United 2, Blackpool 0.
Okay, normally it takes a bit longer for the training ground moves to come off, but this is like hitting the ground running. This was impressive. The ball in always is the most important thing, and Jack Harrison delivers a sumptuous ball. Firpo was nice and quick and sharp across that near post and gets a good header on it. So good corner kick, good header, good goal. Here you see it again. The boys clearly know what the arm up means. All about the delivery. Jack plays an absolute blinder in there. And Firpo gets there first. Good goal.
Chris Maxwell, the keeper, probably slightly disappointed, but deceived, no doubt about that there.
Well, I think if someone runs across your near post, you put all your weight to the left-hand side, and you can see him going to the left and a little bit late, and you're right. Across the eye line, always important as well to try and disturb the keeper, and then it goes.
It's been an excellent start, all things considered, from Leeds United. 2 goals up inside 24 minutes. We said it was a strong-looking 11 for this first period, and all the evidence is there in front of you just at the moment. Blackpool, though, trying to get themselves something from this one. They end up with a throw-in as Stroup is strong in the challenge again. I was up at Thorpe Arch on the first day back after the testing, and the players were being put through their paces. And the one thing that absolutely amazed me, Tony, having spent years and years going up to the opening day of pre-season, particularly thinking back to the Howard Wilkinson days, was they had a ball out on day one. On day one.
Believe it.
Yeah, incredible.
We turn up first day with trainers, running shoes, and that's about it. Yeah.
Well, that was it for about 10 days, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
At that time. So things have changed massively. In the modern era, the players arrive back fit. The break was so short. I mean, it was barely 4 weeks from the Brentford fixture before the players were back in for pre-season again, and those who had been away on international duty, the likes of Dan James, they were still playing games in the middle of June. So there's been hardly any break. It may have its consequences that much further into the next season, given that the cycle has been unremitting for these players, hasn't it? Not just at Leeds United, but the fact that they came back from the lockdown break, and since then it's been almost non-stop football. There's been barely a gap of more than 4 weeks before everybody's back in action again.
Yeah, you're right. Liam Cooper actually said it as well, in that physically, of course, you need a rest, but mentally, that's the big thing.
Anything,
more than anything, you really do need a break.
And you just think of the mental pressure that was on the players. Again, had the chance to chat about it with a couple of them at Thorpe Arch. The mental pressure that was on every game last season for Leeds because of the way that the season went. And then you get 4 weeks to clear your head, a couple of weeks on the beach, a couple of weeks of beer and burgers, and then you're all ready, and you have to switch on again as Leeds switch on again to defend this corner kick. The ball bobbles around, and ultimately Pascal Stroup does the proper defender's job, just puts his boot through it, and Leeds almost able to pick up on that far side, but end up with a throw-in nevertheless.
Well, we couldn't quite clear it out the box. Medine with the effort, get it blocked rather well.
Harry Medine, formerly known as the goal machine. I'm not sure whether that's quite still the case, but formerly known as. He was amongst the goals for Blackpool last season still. Didn't quite make it into double figures, but he's a guy who's got an established reputation for sure at championship level, having played at a number of clubs and still playing his trade here into his 30s with Blackpool. As Leeds push up with Archie Gray chasing the through ball at the other end of the pitch. And round of applause from the fans for his efforts there as Leeds United end up with a throw-in a promising position. And it's a good throw-in as well to Gray, who was looking for Gelhardt in the middle, I think there. Leeds have another chance with Drama. And now Greenwood. Now Rodrigo. Again, good possession from, well, we don't have a home team, do we? But I guess the nominal home team, playing in Yorkshire at least, against the side from Lancashire. Stroup in the centre circle to Rocca. Archie Gray, real willingness to get on the ball there from him as well in the middle for Leeds. Saw him at Arsenal in the aftermath of the match at the Emirates Stadium when he was on the bench for Leeds. Hadn't realised it, but he's not actually allowed to change with the adults in the dressing room. He had to have his own dressing room at Arsenal. Yeah, so he was using the interview room to get changed in. Premier League rules, apparently.
Wow.
So Archie Gray's presence just causes a little bit of a logistical issue, perhaps, for Leeds United, and will do. I'm sure will continue to do so this season as Blackpool make a change. And we were expecting 11 to come on at half-time, but actually the first one of their changes has been made a little earlier than that.
So Brad Holmes has gone off. He's the one that had the half chance earlier, but clearly he must have some sort of injury.
I think it's Jack Moore. It is Jack Moore who's come on to replace him. As Leeds through Stroup. And now Koch. Build again. Rodrigo, nice touch to Drama. Maybe Drama, another one who there'll be a lot of interest, a lot of eyes on in these pre-season games. As Leeds attack once more with Gelhardt, again strong in possession. Rocca to Greenwood. Spotted the run. And it's Drama making it. Can he keep pressure on the defender? He can, and he earns Leeds a corner kick. Yeah, Drama had a great loan spell at Cardiff, played over 20 games, and ended up winning Young Player of the Season and Player of the Season awards from a half-season loan spell. So
that sounds
made a big
impressive to me. Yeah, that sounds really impressive. And here he is, flying down the right-hand side and really wants to show his worth. Of course, Rasmus Christensen has come in that position as well, so the competition is hot.
So Cody Drammer will be looking, as we've said, to do his bit as early as he can in these matches at the start of the pre-season programme. Harrison's ball, this time Blackpool defend better through Dougal. Plays launch back into the box, and Gelhardt is in the middle and clear. Can't quite get the ball out from his feet, but then Rodrigo comes in to help him out, and Leeds United further stretch their advantage here inside half an hour, and the Premier League side have scored 3 times already.
Nice finish from Rodrigo. Gelhardt, he's got a court under his feet, but still had the wherewithal to spot his teammate. It was a good one, so they certainly worked that out from initially the first goal they scored, but the way they come out was pretty poor, and eventually it's a good finish from Rodrigo.
Actually, Gelhardt's clever there, isn't he? Because once he dug the ball out from under his feet, he put the perfect ball into Rodrigo.
Yep. I'm sure he would have liked to have scored it himself, but had the presence of mind just to find Rodrigo, and a good finish. He can smile now.
Yeah, I think there's a little raised eyebrow there, wasn't there, from Gelhardt?
That didn't go in.
Yeah, he couldn't miss that one, but I'm sure Gelhardt would have loved to have finished himself. Reminder, he's also had a goal chalked off for offside in the very opening stages of this game, but Leeds are doing very, very well here indeed anyway. Harrison to the middle, and again, you'd say it started with a set piece, slightly less conventionally, but Archie Gray's ball put back into the penalty area, into a dangerous area, was what caused Blackpool the problems.
And it was clever, it was early, that's the important thing, but also making sure that the strikers come out with the defence is important. You see a lot of strikers get caught offside in those sort of positions, but we pushed out pretty well, and we were in.
I think the one thing that you would say at this point, just to temper things a little, is that it's a pre-season game. Blackpool have had one match against Southport so far, which they won by 2-0. Leeds with a run out against Stoke, but these are the opening stages, and there's a long way to go before you get into the real deal. I mean, not much in time, but in terms of where Leeds are at now and where they'll be at, no doubt, in 4 weeks for Wolverhampton Wanderers, you'd imagine will be still 2 different places.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think what the most important thing about these sorts of games is to get through unscathed. You know, it's about fitness, simple as that. And yes, of course, tactics are important, but you've got to make sure you stay fit in pre-season, build that strength and fitness ready for the season to come.
One thing you would say is that the Leeds players do appear to be fit, don't they?
Well, I've got to say, they're flying around, I have to say. They've looked impressive, they look strong, organised, closed down extremely well. Blackpool haven't had too many chances to play the ball easy out from the back, and I'm sure that's the tactics.
And I'm sure there were some pretty impressive figures. The Leeds players came back, the first day back was the testing day, which was held at Leeds Beckett University. Fantastic campus that they have at Leeds Beckett University these days, with state-of-the-art sports facilities, and that's where the players went on day 1. That was the same for the internationals who returned after the main body as well, and then once they'd done the testing on the first day, everybody knew where they were at in terms of how they'd come back. Then they were straight into work on the training ground, and as we mentioned earlier, straight into work with the ball on the training ground as well. And even on that first day, I was watching them play little small-sided games. So right from the word go, Leeds have been working with the ball. Robin Koch here is working that ball along the halfway line, still going, fouled there I'm sure, and the referee agrees with me, and Leeds United will have a free kick. Oh no, they won't actually. Game continues. There's pressure on Maxwell from Greenwood. Copes with it okay, but Blackpool again under pressure.
They certainly are, and if you take too long on the ball, well, you're going to get caught one way or the other. Gelhardt there just lifting the fullback up, but really good pressure.
34 minutes have gone here at the LNER Stadium. Leeds United with an impressive lead against Championship opposition. This is the game that precedes the trip to Australia. The players fly away at the weekend. 3 games to be played down under. And then Leeds conclude the pre-season programme with Cagliari as the opponents at Ellen Road. And then after that, the week after that, it's Wolverhampton Wanderers, the real deal.
And Rocca, they're just a great piece of skill initially to twist away from his man, gave the ball away, and then he flew into a challenge. He certainly does like a challenge, it looks like, so understands that the physical nature of the game, he needs to certainly bring that to the side. That's what he's been doing.
Well, I guess there's a huge gap to be filled for Leeds, isn't there now? Calvin Phillips having secured his move to Manchester City, and we wish him all the very best with that one. Fantastic servant for the football club. But now Leeds United have got to find a way, life after Calvin, and Rocca could well be a significant part of that, I presume, as the ball is played out to this near side for Firpo to go and chase and catch, and actually play an excellent ball to Jack Harrison, who at pace is upended by the Australian.
That was an Aussie rules football challenge, that was.
He's from Brisbane. Do they play that there?
No, not so much. Okay, rugby. Let's go rugby league. Right. Rugby league, Broncos. Yeah, that was a real poor challenge, but again, just nice and sharp from Jack Harrison. Top of the shoulder, see you later. All he could do was, upend him.
Come on, mate. So it leads. Take care. Sorry, Terry.
Yeah.
Should have done that. Robin Koch out towards the far touchline. The shadow spreads ever further across the pitch now as the sun drops in North Yorkshire. Pascal Stroup with a short ball, the shield of the eyes there as Robin Koch plays it forward, tries to go down the channel. Rodrigo caught, Blackpool spring forward, work the ball towards the edge of the Leeds box, indeed into the Leeds box, takes a deflection, and Blackpool had their first corner kick.
He just got caught a little bit upfield, gave the ball away in a narrow, dangerous area. Robin Koch does enough and puts the ball out for a corner kick. Interesting to see how he gets on, isn't it, Robin Koch, this season? Hopefully he stays clear of injury. I must admit, I thought he showed great leadership and spirit towards the end of last season. He was one of the strong players we had.
Yeah, asked to play in perhaps an unfamiliar role in midfield at times. Good defensive header clear from the corner kick there. And Leeds at the pace that they get out at to try and put pressure back. And Maxwell suddenly faces up to an oncoming Joe Gelhardt and decides that go long is the best option. Koch into the centre circle, spins the pass off to Greenwood. He can't control, but he gets a second chance and maybe a third chance yet. Rocca emerges with the ball for Leeds. Now Harrison. Back it goes into just about into Leeds territory. Firpo, and then spread wide by Gray. And it's going to be a chase on for Drama, and he'll go for it, he'll get there. It's great work indeed to get to the byline, brings the ball back into the middle. And if he had a teammate on the end of that, that would have been a wonderful build-up play from Cody Drama. Started by an excellent ball over the top for Archie Gray. I thought he played it too far.
So did I.
Pace there.
I actually thought Drama wasn't going to go for it as well, but then he kind of checked, and what a fantastic ball this is. See you later. I didn't see a little bit of backspin on it, because clearly that's what he had, and Drummer was in. Excellent ball. And there, I think it must have just gone over before he could get the pass in.
It would have been a thrilling build-up, a thrilling finish had he been able to pick out one of those, was it 3 blue shirts in the penalty area? So again, enterprising play from Leeds United in this first half, and 3 goals on the scoreboard already. Blackpool have found it really tough. Keogh here, 35, soon to be 36, is being asked to do probably more work than he would really favour at this early stage of the pre-season period, at this late stage in his career. But Leeds come again with Gelhardt, skips away from 2 challenges. Great work with the ball, gets it into Rodrigo. Gelhardt provides a little run again, cuts the ball back, lovely ball back from Gelhardt, and there's chaos in the penalty area. And approach play again from Joe Gelhardt there, absolutely excellent.
Brilliant stuff, isn't it? He is so strong on the ball, can't shake him off. But not only that, he has the presence of mind then to play the right pass and almost another goal.
So Joe Gelhardt, who made big impressions in the second half of last season for Leeds United in particular, scored important goals, won important penalties, set up important goals. All those contributions proved crucial come that final day when Leeds United just about finished above the line, 3 points in it. So all the positive results along the way were so important. And the ability that Leeds had to dig games out, even as the 90th minute was passed, became absolutely crucial element in terms of that survival story. There's Blackpool here. Try and get forward. Archie Gray busy to block. Somewhat confusingly, we have a whole host of the soon-to-be Blackpool replacements warming up on that touchline. 5 more minutes to go in this first period, and then it's all change. Just as we're familiarising ourselves with the opposition, and we'll have to maybe work just a little bit harder with the Leeds United lineup in the second half, I would anticipate as well, because some of the younger lads are going to have their opportunity to show what they can do in the second 45 minutes here. As Leeds, again, as they have done throughout the course of the evening so far, hold the possession really well here. Keep moving Blackpool around, and then Rodrigo into Greenwood, and then it's played through the middle. Flag is raised against Gelhardt, or off, marginally offside there, but off nevertheless. Dragged that shot just wide anyway.
He did, but nice intricate play, wasn't it? It's narrow, it's tight, but really good short passing, good movement. Rodrigo, Greenwood really do seem to be getting a good understanding of what they're trying to do out there.
Blackpool with the free kick that results. Maxwell puts it straight onto the head of Rocca, and Meslier at the other end, who's a pretty quiet first half, it has to be said. Emerges from the penalty area just to put that one into touch. And Blackpool it is who have the throw in as the sun drops lower, so the view from that far side gets that little bit trickier, as you can see from those who are shielding their eyes to try and pick out the throw-in taker as the ball goes into the Leeds half. And Blackpool now have it back in their own territory. Somewhat loose ball gives Harrison the sniff of something there. In fact, more than that, he's got the ball under his possession. Plays it into Greenwood. Maxwell's come quickly and didn't quite sit up for Greenwood as he'd have wanted there. Gave the goalkeeper the opportunity just to stretch and hold on to the ball.
Well, Richard Keogh, I'm sure, would like a bit of space and time to play the ball, but he's getting none of it. And at his age, he's, the young boys are around him, biting his ankles, winning the ball back, again, from closing down bars.
Still Leeds as we head towards half-time. Stick at their task impressively here. And you'd have to say that Blackpool players, in a sense, already have that slightly sort of weary look about them, don't they?
They're ready to go.
At the end of this first period, even though I think for most of them, if not all of them, well, bar the sub who's come on, a break now awaits. A longer break than just the half-time interval. Maybe yet there's a moment for them on the edge of the penalty area. Bowler into the middle. Well read by Rocca. Still there for Blackpool though. They've worked it to the left side, the low drive, and suddenly Meslier does have something to do. Drops down on the ball at his near post, holds on to it comfortably. But that's the first real moment of threat in front of the French goalkeeper.
Yeah, good save from Meslier. It really was. At his near post. Gets down quite smartly. It all started actually just with a long ball up from Blackpool. Gary Medine won the initial header. I'm surprised they haven't just trying to go long a bit earlier, because clearly trying to play through midfield out from the back is not easy for them.
And Madine's absolutely set up for that kind of thing, isn't he? That's what he's built a career on, that being the big lad up front, the target man. And it's maybe sometimes the challenge that the players who are used to playing in the top divisions, wherever those top divisions are, not quite as used to. As Leeds again have a chance with Harrison. Rolls the ball and gets the ball back inside the penalty area. Can he find room for the shot? He tries. There's a crowd of Blackpool players block him off, and still the ball is there potentially for Leeds United to win. Maxwell's clearance was charged down by Joe Gelhardt. I'm sure the keeper was pretty relieved to see it go away from goal and not be an embarrassment for him, as Koch comes across quickly and just tidies up again defensively for Leeds United. More promising movement for Leeds on and around the Blackpool penalty area there. Bowler, nice little 1-2 just on the edge of the penalty box. Stroup again takes control.
Good defending again from Pascal Stroup. I thought last season he grew and grew in confidence. He had a little bit of a dip. Probably got 2/3 of the way through, mind you, so did the team, but I think this season could be a real big one for him. I think he's an excellent player, just getting better and better.
And gaining, as we mentioned already this evening, gaining Premier League experience. Arrived in that very first game at Anfield and the first day back in the Premier League. Perhaps a surprise inclusion on that occasion, but he served the club really well since. And remember, another man who scored a crucial goal at the back end of last season, that late equaliser against Brighton, to earn a point in the penultimate game of the season. As the half-time whistle goes just 10 seconds beyond the 45th minute mark, and as that whistle goes, warm applause from the supporters inside the LNER stadium who've come to watch Leeds United. They've enjoyed what they've seen so far, because Leeds go off having scored 3 times, starting in the 10th minute with Robin Koch, then Firpo's near post header, and then Rodrigo fed by Gelhardt from close range, has made this a really good start to the pre-season programme so far. As the players depart, and we anticipate that we'll see lots of new faces when both sides emerge, as we have full coverage to come of the second half here at the LNER Stadium. Half-time scoreline, Leeds United 3, Blackpool 0. Welcome back. Leeds United have emerged from the tunnel, and contrary perhaps to expectations, the appearances that in the initial stages of this second half at least, Leeds 11 is going to look very similar to the one that finished that first half, as you'll see from the likes of Joe Gelhardt, Sam Greenwood and Jack Harrison there. So Leeds United sticking with something like the side that began the game. We've seen some of the younger players out in the interval warming up. No doubt they will be making an appearance before too long, I would suggest, but at least for the initial stages of this second period. There's one change that Leeds United are making, at least, in Amari Miller, who's joining the action for Leeds. So one change.
Yeah, I think I counted 7 outfield players that were warming up, so that may mean there's 3 substitutes on. Millier doesn't look like he's going to be in goal as well, but let's see.
Blackpool, different proposition, because it is a mass change for Blackpool. They made 1 change in the first period, and a few more coming on for them in this second half. It's always the fun part of the pre-season games, is the bit where you're trying to work out who's doing what and why. And there we go, you can see, I think pretty much straight away that Blackpool have brought on fresh faces here, whereas Leeds United have kept things a little more similar to that we saw in the first period. Joe Gelhardt over the ball, ready to get the second half underway. Impressive start to pre-season for Leeds in that first 45 with the 3 goals on the board. No doubt looking to at least add to that in the opening stages of the second half, which is now underway. And Drama playing down the near side as the ball goes back into another of those half-time changes in Jeremiah Mullen, who wears the 64 shirt, 17 years old, as you can see, central defender. He's already had 2-3 touches in there, playing alongside Pascal Stroup now, as Rocca plays a ball up the far touchline. Foul not given in the middle of the park, and second challenge allowed to go as well. Leeds have the ball to get it forward. And there's another one of those new Blackpool players. Ed Patata, experienced central defender from the Leyton Orient man who gets the ball into touch. And that'll be a Leeds throw in.
Rocca again flying into challenge. I thought that was just about a foul, but referee, as you say, let that one go.
He's on the ball and tries to work it to a teammate, but doesn't quite come off. And there's another change for Leeds that's been made in the interval with Leif Davis back at the club, back in the side. And again, another man who's really looking to make that big impression now. And for the likes of Leif Davis, I guess, at this stage, every second counts.
Well, it certainly does. Remember back to a game that Mateusz Klich played in at Tadcaster. It was certainly in the 23s or a B side pre-season. And then his attitude was fantastic, played really well. And then I think it was Ronaldo Vieira got sold. He got his chance. And Klich, of course, did a spot his own. So, you know, it can happen. And that's what these lads are hoping for.
As the ball comes over the near side touchline, Klaassen is in goal, as you'll have noticed a moment ago. And the man that we last saw in that epic game at Molineux against Wolverhampton Wanderers, as he came on for, what was it, the last 20-25 minutes or so of that match, and played really well for Leeds, made one excellent save as well at a crucial time of the game before Luke Ayling scored that magnificent added time winner. Again, another of those crucial results, as it turned out, for a Leeds side that just about did enough to stay up. So everybody is hoping, and the aim and the ambition obviously this season is for that not to be the case again, and that for Leeds to be far more comfortable in terms of the where they're at going into those final few games of the season.
And Murray Miller here just gets I think an arm across him there, you can see.
A little dig afterwards as well.
Absolutely, a little naughty.
Callum Connolly, the offender. Rocca from the centre spot pretty much. As again, you'll see that the shadow stretch ever further across the pitch now. Klaassen to Mullen. And back to Pascal Stroup. Promising approach play for Leeds as Greenwood tries to thread the ball through the gap for the run down the channel. There's another opportunity perhaps here. Pretty tight over there at the moment.
It is, just spread the plate and try and move it out this side.
Strong challenge on Greenwood. Nothing wrong with that, says the referee. And Doug Tarm mentioned that Chris Maxwell, the Blackpool goalkeeper in the first half, was a former Wrexham man. Well, so is Doug Tarm. There you go, that's the last Wrexham reference that you're going to get.
I'm not so sure it is, but...
No, it is, I promise.
Okay.
Interested to see how his career's developed, actually, from National League football. He's been on a real journey around. He's played in the Welsh Premier League. He's played lower than National League, and then ended up with a move to Blackpool in League One. Finds himself playing here in the second half of the game against Premier League opposition. Free kick is given against Leeds United.
Rocca is the offender again. This time it was a free kick. So he's playing at the base of the midfield along with Archie Gray. Of course, the three then in front. Murray Miller on the one side, Greenwood, and then Harrison on the other. And Gelhardt up top.
The 50th minute. Leeds United defending the 3-goal lead established in the first half. Archie Gray physically doesn't look like a 16-year-old, does he?
He doesn't, and he also, I would say, mentally plays like he's a lot older as well. Really good head, just trying to out-muscle, of course. Very strong Keshi Anderson, but couldn't quite manage it.
And it's same man over the ball for Blackpool now with a free kick in it. Promising position. Work again by Stroup just to thwart the attacking efforts of Blackpool, now to start something perhaps for Leeds in an attacking sense. And a little bit chaotic over there, but the ball eventually is bundled into touch in front of the Leeds dugout. There's Mark Jackson, who's been confirmed in his position today, as has Cameron Toshak. As Leeds have brought in additional staff members as well to work with Jesse Marsh. And that's probably another important part of the process, because everything had to be done so quickly when Jesse Marsh arrived. And there was little time for Leeds to get a settled team put in place, as all the work was just about preparing for the next game. But in these crucial close season weeks, that chance is there.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think also what is very important is that we get some business done nice and early in the transfer window, and that's exactly what we've done. Plenty of players coming in, so they have time to settle in that much longer onto the training pitch, and of course in pre-season, so the trip to Australia of course will be very important as well for that.
We know little officially, but there may be a little bit more, may yet be a little more movement in for Leeds, perhaps, we'll see. May yet be more movement out as well, as Blackpool get a ball up to the edge of the penalty area, and a shot on goal, and a second shot. Leeds have enough bodies around the ball to make sure that Glasner is untroubled.
Yeah, Lubalo got out on the left-hand side and just crossed it over. Didn't quite get the connection that they wanted to play on the right, but a little moment to worry about.
So Leeds United not quite enjoying the same attacking moments that they did in the first half, but they have made those changes, which might have a little bit of an impact. Offside flag raised, and caught off is Lubala, who was one of the 2 goal scorers for Blackpool against Southampton against Southport at the weekend. Hague Avenue. And Mullen with the crossfield ball to Pascal Stroup. Mullen gets it back, threads the ball through the middle, just beyond Sam Greenwood's stretch. Chases on to pick up possession for Leeds on this near side. And Mullen is the outlet.
For a 70-year-old, he's tall and confident, isn't he? Certainly languid in his style, but I like the way he positively tries to force that ball into midfield, try to give it to feet, taking a few chances with the ball.
Throw into Leeds is just again in front of the technical area. Jesse Marsh, all animation as ever in there. There he is. And Mullen once more. Stroup to Rocca, who's happy to sit in and just help the 2 central defenders out, offering them that extra option.
Yeah, always an option. I like that. And he drops mainly to the left-hand side there, but he's always wanting the ball.
Something that Calvin Phillips did to excellent effect for Leeds. There's a little ball over the top now, on top of it to Rocca, and there's a foul that gives Leeds a free kick in a good position here. And ball over the top was a promising one from Rocca.
However, it looks to be a problem. Who's down?
Got the Leeds medical team on for the first time, isn't it, this evening?
Yeah.
And the man down is Leif Davis. And as you mentioned in the first half, Tony, one of the major aspects of these games at this stage is making sure everybody comes through with a clean bill of health, isn't it? And Leif Davis is one of those players who, more than others perhaps, will be really, really keen to make sure he's absolutely fighting fit, assuming he's around and about the place for that opening game of the season.
No, you're absolutely right. Just looking back at the goals, but I think Leif Davis, I'm sure, thinks he's got a chance. He's there to put in possession at the moment of the left-back spot, but Leif Davis will want to really impress when he can. Here's Archie Gray. That was a good ball, wasn't it? Nice and early into a dangerous area. Of course, gets trapped under his feet, but Rodrigo puts it away rather nicely.
Yeah, it was more than a hopeful lob in that from Archie Gray for the goal, wasn't it? There was a bit more to it than that.
Oh no, absolutely. Exactly where he was putting it at the right pace as well. Yeah, it was impressive.
Well, let's see what Leeds can do from another set-piece opportunity. Did really well from these moments in the first half. What can they do from this one after the changes at half-time? Ball is whipped in, but it's whipped in with too much power, too much pace, not enough accuracy, and sails past Grimshaw, the second-half goalkeeper for Blackpool's post. Grimshaw with his first goal kick. Interesting one. It's pinged in low. Takes a bit of a risk with that one, but found his teammate briefly. And Leeds quickly had the ball back again. Leeds again beginning to dominate possession in this game, as they did in the first period. Blackpool, the championship side. Leeds United, the Premier League side. There were times last season when we weren't sure we were going to be able to say that for too much longer. But that final day, with all the drama, ensured that Leeds United still have that elevated status, and that rather than playing Blackpool in league fixtures, Leeds United are playing, as they have done many times, even in relatively recent years. Instead of that, Leeds United meet as the team who are meeting lower league opposition as they both prepare for a new season. Grimshaw. Swank with a strong header. Ray helps the ball on. All a bit messy here at the moment, but Leeds trying to tidy things up a little. Looked to the referee for a free kick. Got nothing from the official. That's a good interception by Mullen. Taken down by Rocca. And then another strong challenge comes in on Amari Miller, and this time the referee does respond with a free kick.
He's clobbered a couple of times now, hasn't he, Amari Miller? Of course, against a side like Blackpool, it's an opportunity for Miller to show what he's about, but he's got to show that physical side as well.
From the Birmingham man, who has played first-team football, yeah, hoping to get himself in the frame with Leeds perhaps this season. Ball is a good one into the penalty area, and Davis is in there, battling away for Leeds, starting again with Archie Gray, and then Rocca miscontrols. And Blackpool it is who get the ball forward themselves. Rocca, good block off by the new man. And Gelhardt joins in the action. It's a real mess the second half, isn't it? Scrappy as anything.
Yeah, it hasn't quite settled down, no real rhythm to it. We are closing down well, but not quite got our passing boots on just yet.
As the ball goes down the far side touchline, Stroup is happy just to marshal that one, let the ball roll through to Klaassen. And then he gets the ball back from Mullen. And then it's another late challenge, which I think I was expecting maybe an advantage played there, but Leeds have actually done pretty well with the ball and still have it and still going. And then Harrison is brought down, and that will be a free kick. And there's a less than friendly feel to this fixture just at the moment.
You're absolutely right. There's 2 or 3 challenges going there. It's just a little bit on the edge. What you got to, of course, make sure that you don't get injured, but once these tackles start flying in, you kind of want to do the same back to them, and then it gets a bit of a kicking match. So
that's Callum Connolly again, and that was 2 occasions where Jack Harrison was the recipient of fairly stiff challenges there. Harrison it is who stands over the ball alongside Greenwood now as we hit the hour mark here at the LNER Stadium. Leeds United still with that comfortable lead established in the first half. Greenwood tries another variation of the free kick.
Oh yeah, that was a worse variation. Trying to find that near top corner. The first one was a lot better than that one.
It's the near top corner of the stand behind the goal that's currently being found. But this is the stage of the season when you do that stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you iron out the problems. and ensure that when things start, as Greenwood gets pauses, he's going to be one of a raft of players who come off for Leeds now. So Stroup is going off, and Rocca is going off, and Jack Harrison is going off. Greenwood we've mentioned, and Cody Drammer is another who goes off as well. And players emerge to replace them, and good to see Adam Forshaw back out there in action again for Leeds. And he takes the captain's armband, got himself back into the first team last season, and then just before the season finished found himself back in the treatment room once more. So Adam Forshaw will be really keen to make sure that, as Tony's already mentioned, that things go well in pre-season, and that he's very much in the frame as competition hots up in those central midfield areas from the start of the real season.
Well, it's so vital that he was fit and playing well, because we really were lacking in that area of the pitch at times last season. But when he came in, a few of the games got his inspiration. I thought he did it absolutely fantastically well. After being out for so long, he showed great levels of fitness, but certainly ability as well.
He enjoyed his company a couple of occasions on the gantry. This season, we only want to see him on the pitch. And no offence, he was a good co-commentator, but want to see Adam Forshaw involved in the action. As we're seeing Archie Gray very much involved in the action here. Good close control, good balance before the ball is eventually just taken off his toes. Pushed out for this Leeds throw-in. Jamie Shackleton, one of those who's arrived. Very experienced first-team player who's come on at the start of the second half. And Chris Moore, a young central defender. And now Mullen. So two inexperienced players at the back for Leeds, something that Blackpool will anticipate they might be able to exploit perhaps. There's McGurk, great turn. Still has the ball, does well, and feeds it back into the midfield. And Leeds hold the possession in there with Lewis Bate, who's just come on. Again, another, like Adam Forshaw, really knows that there's competition in that area now, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, well, there certainly wasn't last season, because Tyler Adams coming in, you'd expect to be one of the players to get a berth in that front, or two in front of the back four. But yeah, make sure you're playing well to try and get in.
Blackpool throw in on the halfway line. McGurk comes out with the ball for Leeds United. And Chris Moore. Drop of the shoulder from Lewis Bate. Enjoyed first team action for Leeds last season. So he's had a taste, one of those, a number of players who've emerged from the 23s group who've had a taste, who've actually been out there in the Premier League. Just really sharpen the appetite to have more. There's Forshaw, and now McGurk. Is the ball to the far side of the penalty area, but it's just a little overhit. And Jamie Shackleton acknowledges the effort as the ball goes behind.
That was a shame, because it certainly was on, and McGurk saw the pass. Shackleton made a good run, but just a little bit too long for him.
Grimshaw again, as the noise comes from the fans behind the goal, behind Grimshaw. McGurk gets the first, and then at a stretch the second touch. And then leaves one in on his opponent, but Blackpool keep possession. And there's a swing of the arm there that I think has caught Archie Gray, hasn't it?
Yep, certainly has. And down he goes.
Grimshaw may be planning just to, is he going to play the ball into touch for the opportunity for treatment to be administered? Game is stopped anyway. Just, I don't think there was much in the challenge.
I think it looked more accidental. I think it was a 7-0 Dale from Blackpool that just was using his arms, but Gray came in so very quickly. Caught one in the face.
As we mentioned, tackles have There we go. That was he spun away, didn't he? Caught him with a flying arm there. No free kick awarded. Play continues with the ball back in the hands now of the Blackpool keeper. Grimshaw, who became first choice keeper for Blackpool last season before suffering an injury towards the conclusion of the campaign, which saw Chris Maxwell re-establish his place as Blackpool's #1. Concede a free kick just outside the Blackpool penalty area.
It almost worked to perfection as well. Great closing down, and then come back inside, played a dangerous ball, and Lewis Bate there just timed his challenge. Unfortunately wrongly.
The ball goes out of play. Leeds United, in the last sunny areas of the pitch, have the throw in. Clarkson has had little or almost nothing to do really so far in the second period. Although in fairness, Grimshaw has not really been troubled at the other end either. Here's Mullen. Bate dropping in to help out on this occasion now, and then Forshaw able to step a little further forward. Again, McGurk looking after the ball.
Yeah, tidy. Couple of nice turns. So very comfortable.
A crossfield run from Amari Miller. It's continuing to recruit at both senior level and below, trying to ensure a legacy that will exist a long time as Gray gets into the penalty area, almost through with a sight of goal there. Last minute intervention blocked that run off. Archie Gray just pushing it a little bit further forward now as Forshaw is on, and now Shackleton holds the ball. He's happy to go back into his own half.
So here now we see Lewis Bate just dropping deep, trying to be that player that always gives an option to the centre halves.
Archie Gray scrapping away again on this near side. And the ball will be Blackpool's. The free kick is awarded to the team in Tangerine. Attempt at an attacking movement from Blackpool comes to nothing.
And I suppose we shouldn't be too surprised that it is so scrappy in this second half with so many changes. And Blackpool, a complete new 11 now. We have done the same as well, so it takes a little while to settle in. These players, of course, wouldn't have played with each other at all, this 11, so all a little new at the moment.
As the ball is just pinged up through the centre. Cushion header. And an opportunity for Matteo Joseph, who's come on for Leeds United now as well, to make his presence felt through the middle. Leeds try and, through Shackleton, keep the ball alive in that attacking area. It comes off Shackleton.
I thought Shackleton would appeal then for the throw-in, but he knew more of it, just smiling at the referee's assistant. No, I won't. It's their throw.
Not the time for that. That sort of arguing that will come in weeks ahead once that first game kicks off. Once Wolverhampton Wanderers are the opposition at Ellen Road on day one of another Premier League season for Leeds, that's when the arguments start. Here's Gray again, edge of the penalty area. Again limps away from another challenge there and then drops to the ground as the game goes on. McGurk tries to win the ball in the midfield for Leeds. Blackpool it is who can carry it forward instead. Forward it goes to Keshi Anderson. And, the ball is not will end up with the feet of a teammate. Archie Gray back on his feet, back in the centre circle, still limping a little there. Just when I would imagine he'll depart the action fairly soon.
Well, I hope so, because he's actually holding his hamstring about 5 minutes earlier as well, and it's pre-season, so as soon as you feel something, these sort of games you need to say, okay, I need to come off and just make sure you're fit for the next session. But Archie Gray, of course, he wants to be out there, but again, I saw him holding his hamstring.
There he is. Another straight arm challenge.
Was that?
What was in the penalty area, wasn't it? Leeds still have the ball. The game still goes on. McGurk takes it to the byline, tries to get the cross into the middle, and it goes behind. And you do wonder whether there was something for Leeds in that. Another stretch of the leg. This time the other leg for Archie Gray, cramp this time, I think.
Well, if it is cramp, I'm delighted, because it is nothing more serious than that. But just give the challenge there. What is that?
Well, that's a penalty, isn't it?
It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think he was inside the box, wasn't he, when they pushed their two hands in the chest. Archie Gray finds himself in the thick of it, very much out there for Leeds, and once more the recipient of treatment. And given the number of potential players who could come on the bench as Blackpool make another change, Archie Gray, I would imagine, will be on his way to the touchline for the final time. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Good time for Leeds to be able to make that change now. So Archie Gray will be replaced by Charlie Allen, who will go and play in an attacking midfield role, the Northern Irishman, 18 years old.
He's been impressive, hasn't he? Certainly has. Archie Gray, very good 70-odd minutes, nice and comfortable on the ball, intelligent, good runs, got stuck in as well, almost weaved his way into the box on a couple of occasions, but yeah, for his age, quite remarkable.
So Grimshaw for Blackpool plays it out from the edge of the 6-yard box. And challenge is strong but fair. Leeds end up with a throw-in. Shackleton with ball in hand. And a teammate. Holland as well, under pressure, but very calm under that pressure. Let's try and work it down that channel, but to start again, which is what they do now. Actors off for Blackpool, Hughes on, that's their latest change. And it ends up with a Blackpool free kick on the edge of their own penalty area. Anderson plays a ball out to this near side to Labala. Skips away from the challenge of Shackleton. Shackleton covers well. Leeds get the ball clear, and Leeds will get the free kick, which will then out. And to complete that clearance, the foul committed by Harvey Hughes there.
Another challenge on Murray Miller, but Shackleton there just stuck to his task. And eventually, inside the box, does win the ball back. Just a shove in the back. Well, that was nowhere near as bad as the one at the other end, which should have been a penalty.
Forshaw through the middle. Well, the run was on there, perhaps. Goalkeeper Grimshaw came out quickly. It's just a long clearance forward from him all the way through to his opposite number, Christopher Clarkson. Spate ferries the ball out to Forshaw. Physically, for certain, at the moment now that Leeds have got this much younger side on, Blackpool have that advantage at least. Ekpiteta, big lad at the back. So maybe the aerial options are not there for Leeds United to get the ball into penalty area at the moment. It's all very crowded, isn't it? There's little or no room to work in.
But also for Blackpool, I would have thought they may have caused us one or two more problems than they are doing, so we're comfortably dealing with them. It's that sort of ball, isn't it? But we thought they might be to their advantage, but look how quickly we're closing down. It's not one, it's two, it's another. It's impressive.
I remember we saw Leeds play Fleetwood in a pre-season game last season. Yeah. Adam Forshaw played in that game, didn't he? And in the first half, when Forshaw was on, well, Blackpool here, we have something to be concerned about, because they have a free kick just outside the penalty area. So we can come back maybe to the Forshaw anecdote in a moment, but when Forshaw was on in that game, Leeds had great control in the first half, took the lead, and then it was more inexperienced side in the second half. Which it must have been the first challenge that was, otherwise the second one was in the box, wasn't it?
No, it was the first one that was bait. They're just late with the challenge. Didn't see any advantage, and down he goes. So a free kick, just a short ball from Jeremiah Mullen, putting us into a little bit of bother, but let's see what happens here.
It's a really good position for Callum Connolly, the Blackpool full-back. Claessen's bouncing around on his line. Going to have to be on his toes here. It's played in low. Clever delivery from Connolly, but Claessen, I think, had spotted the danger and reacted well and didn't actually need, ultimately, to make the save.
Always difficult when it's that close to the 18-yard box to get it up and over. Instead, he's trying to just feed it into that bottom corner. But you're right, Claessen saw that one and went comfortably wide.
So we're well inside the final 15 minutes of this opening. Officially the opening pre-season fixture for Leeds United. Things going well. 3 goals in the first half. And the chance to give a lot of young players a run out and a chance for them to impress in the second half. And whilst the chances have not come for Leeds defensively, this inexperienced backline that Leeds are operating now has so far looked comfortable. As Moore plays the ball across the back to Mullen, and now Miss Bate is the outlet for them. Sean Mullen will be quite so happy with that ball coming spinning in towards him, and Claessen even less so perhaps, but they both did well with it.
Eventually got it under control and sorted, and now we're playing the ball around the back a little calm.
This is Bate in possession for Leeds. Given away, won back, and given away again. Kind of the story in many ways of this second period. With a strong run down that far side of the penalty area. There's a shake of the head from the referee. Nothing doing there, and that means that Chris Moore can be happy with his efforts.
Well, Hamilton was the one, dancing through. Actually did quite well to evade a couple of challenges, but then I thought, here, the last one, just thinks he gets it all wrong, goes down. Not much of a challenge at all.
Chris Moore, who's 18. So another who may yet have a bit more growing to do, a bit more thickening out to do, as it were. There's a foul given for the challenge just inside the Leeds half. Leeds just again find themselves pretty much hemmed in. The block of 4 or 5 Blackpool players around the man in possession. Mullen looking for the free kick there, I think, doesn't get anything. Leeds have to go and try and win possession back. Well, actually, ultimately he does. So the referee let the game go a moment and then brought it back.
Well, pick a foul, any foul. It could be this one here or the one after that as well.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe even that one, I don't know, debatable, but ultimately, Leeds did get a free kick, and they have possession, and Mullen has it. And we've got just over 10 minutes to go here of this game against Blackpool at the LNER Stadium. Still the 3 goals for Leeds, all scored in the first half. T4, Jesse Marsh, I'm sure, to mull over already.
Yeah, I mean, these games are just all about getting some minutes of football into the legs of the players. Most of them got a good hour under their belt. Absolutely ideal for the first one. Always, certainly the first games that I played in pre-season always were difficult. Lasting the 90 minutes, it just seemed difficult. You did a load of running, you feel really fit, but actual football like this is always more difficult. So an hour is perfect.
I guess this is the match sharpness bit, is that the bit that needs to just readjust or recalibrate again, even though, as we already mentioned, it seems so short a gap since people were playing proper football. That final game at Brentford, I was still watching games 2 weeks after that. So the players have had short breaks, and I'm sure that it won't take long at all for them to get right back into that full match mode. chasing around in the penalty area there by Charlie Allen. But Blackpool have the ball forward and still have the ball into the penalty area, and there's a great chance, and fair play to Clarkson. He's done extremely well there to come out quickly and to make the block, because that was by some distance Blackpool's best moment of the game.
Yeah, it certainly was. That's an excellent save from Clarkson, really well. But Hamilton's one that raced through. I think he actually controlled it with his hand. Leif Davis appealed as well to the referee, but it wasn't given. And then after that, just the challenge there was missed. Good ball through. Excellent save.
So United maintain their clean sheet thanks to the efforts of the keeper. There's a big old gap through the middle there, wasn't there?
Yeah, just
Awesome save with the leg.
One centre half went out and just couldn't get a challenge in. After that, the space opened up.
I'm sure Leeds will be keen, and those young defenders will be keen to walk off at the end of this game with the scoreline still looking like that, 0. Leeds hoping at the other end still that they can add to it. They have an opportunity perhaps here and get a telling ball into the middle. That's been the struggle for Leeds in this second half, hasn't it? Not really played much in the Blackpool penalty area.
No, and certainly the widening. I think Amari Miller on this right-hand side, and he's been challenged plenty. He hasn't really had the ball in the last third to run at his fullback, so he hasn't really found too much space. Hasn't been able to work it through into certainly Joseph's feet often enough.
So Grimshaw, the chance to deliver a long ball forward. Challenge goes up. Forshaw with the ball. And it's the defender who goes back to the goalkeeper. And then Mullen holds it up. Bate just sits in that little hole. Now Forshaw slightly ahead of him. So the two of those players working in tandem in that defensive 2 just in front of the back line. Bate again picks out his midfield partner. The referee's blown for the foul to Blackpool there, which I think has confused a couple of the Leeds players, including Charlie Allen, who's presumably the culprit.
Well, the scrappiness is continuing, isn't it? Still no real ability there, but yeah, it was a strain.
Was that a free kick to Blackpool? Anyway, never mind, it's a friendly. Let's not get too worked up. As we've already said, there's time enough for that to come.
Absolutely.
It's very early July still.
It is. Let's just get some minutes into your legs and stop moaning just yet.
Let's not go too soon, people. Forshaw for Leeds, edge of the centre circle. Does really good work there for Leeds as well. And Charlie Allen just can't get in ahead of the defender. The ball is cleared into touch. Throw in. Comes all the way back ultimately to the edge of the centre circle. Here's Mullen. And Allen. And more to Forshaw. There's some distance, the one big experienced head out there for Leeds United now, Adam Forshaw. As the ball is played in now, this is a great opportunity. Little tuck back and the shot on goal goes in, takes a deflection, and Leeds United have added another goal to the total. I'm not sure whether the goal will be credited to the man who struck the shot there, Matteo Joseph, but he certainly celebrates it. Took a big deflection on its way in, and Leeds United have added to that lead. It's now 4-0.
Lovely little move this one. And Shaq plays an excellent ball across to Matteo Joseph. And of course he's going to claim that goal. Yes, it was a deflection off the centre half, but it was certainly on target. All smiles now. Young man came from Spain, didn't he, in January, right, I believe?
Yeah, Espanol.
So, good to see him on the score sheet.
Again, physicality there. Looks a big guy. And certainly enjoyed his moment anyway, didn't he? Went to celebrate with the Leeds United fans on the far side. And Leeds have been rewarded finally in the final few minutes of this game for their efforts in this second half. And they'll go off in chase, no doubt, as the clock ticks down. Maybe one more as well. Grimshaw beaten for the first time in this game. Not a lot we could do about it, in fairness. And Blackpool continue to find Leeds a difficult proposition. It's been a good workout for both sides. Ball goes back into Klaassen. He's got to wait for it to drop before he can get a good long kick forward.
That was a good move foot, that one.
Proper.
Timed that one well.
That passing the ball short from the edge of the penalty area stuff.
Oh, just think back to the game that he played against Wolves. That was one crazy game, wasn't it? That was an amazing game, but it was vital that he was there and pulled off one or two excellent saves at the right time. But yeah, the life of a goalkeeper. You just wonder, I suppose that's one area, the backup keeper, that the club no doubt are looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it is a risk, isn't it, when you've got two young goalkeepers, because Melier, let's not forget, he's already becoming vastly experienced, but he's still a young goalkeeper. And his backup at the moment is another young goalkeeper, so you do wonder whether one of the extra additions that we may see before that opening game against Wolverhampton Wanderers will be another option, potentially experienced head perhaps as a third choice keeper.
Yeah, I think that's wise, because God forbid that Melier gets injured and suddenly Klaassen is starting, and then his backup is
that's right.
You're certainly talking then a very, very young inexperienced goalkeeper, just like Klaassen is. So no, that's a risk that I believe not worth taking.
So as we mentioned, we may yet see more movement. We expect, I think, to see more movement, ins and outs, potentially for Leeds United. Whether that will happen before everybody flies off to Australia. Clock's ticking down on that one now. It's been a busy time with two arrivals in the last 36 hours for Leeds, 6 in all. Inside the final couple of minutes of this pre-season game now, with Blackpool on the attack. Snuffed out by Forshaw. The referee's going to take play back for Leeds free kick.
Another foul on Amari Miller. Has he got a target on his back or something? The ball has been kicked from pillar to post.
Well, I think the thing to take it back to that Fleetwood game, I think was notable in the second half of that game, was that Fleetwood really did impose their physicality on a very young, or was effectively, it was the under-23s, wasn't it, in the second half, and you saw a huge difference, and Fleetwood went on and won that game by 2-1. So maybe one of the lessons learnt to an extent is that just that need to be strong and to anticipate and expect to have a bit of a rough ride from people who are playing the game, the proper professional game, as it were.
You're right. I remember Fleetwood, the centre forward, was a big, robust player who was very good in the air. They just lumped up to him, and he caused all sorts of havoc, didn't he, on the night? But yeah, you need to really combat every single style. But certainly, as a younger player who would be taught technically to do the right thing, but something that's lumped up, now you have to deal with that, and it's different.
And that's people playing for real as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not a theoretical exercise or anything like that. It's jobs on the line.
Yeah.
Mortgages to pay, that sort of stuff. As Leeds United have almost seen this one out now, inside the final minute. I can't imagine there'll be too much to be added on, if any. And finishing, or hoping to finish with a flourish perhaps, as the ball was carried forward by Mullen. A little late challenge in the midfield, allowed to go, with Blackpool still in possession. And then they just clip the ball into touch, and Leeds have that throw in. One or two more empty seats over on that far side now, as the Leeds supporters opt for a slightly early exit, get themselves back on the A64 or the A1237 around York. And the Leeds players will be on the bus not too long, on a short journey home for them as well.
Yes, then packing their bags for Oz.
Exactly.
That'll be one heck of a long journey, but job done.
Job very much done. Good workout for Leeds United, no doubt a good workout for Blackpool as well, but it's the Leeds manager Jesse Marsh who will be probably the happier. Little shake of the hand with Michael Appleton there, but Jesse Marsh has seen his side score 4 goals, 3 of them in the first period, 1 in the latter stages of this game. And whilst he reflects on, when he has chance to reflect on the action, probably watches through the action, I'm sure there's plenty he's enjoyed, isn't there?
Absolutely. I think it's a positive result. I think most importantly, it is about getting a good 90 minutes in, but that's what his team did. For me, I'm looking at Mark Rocca, and he looked good. He did look good. Yes, it's against Blackpool, first game, but you can see why he was brought to the club. But first game in, all good so far.
All good so far. So Leeds United took the lead early on through Robin Koch, then added to it through a near post header from Junior Firpo, and then it was Rodrigo from close range, helped out by Joe Gelhardt, and then Joseph it was, Matteo Joseph, for a moment to remember for him in the latter stages via a huge deflection that looped the ball beyond Grimshaw and into the back of the net for Leeds United's 4th goal on what has been an excellent run out in this first pre-season game there. So the players acknowledge the support of those who've come along to the LNER Stadium for this game this evening, and then they head up the tunnel and back into the dressing room, and then very soon afterwards they'll be heading off to Australia for the next 3 fixtures in the pre-season programme, and you'll be able to watch all of those games live on LUTV. Look forward to your company for those matches and hope you've enjoyed the coverage of this game this evening. Full-time scoreline at the LNER Stadium. It's finished, Leeds United 4, Blackpool 0.